The person who doesn't risk anything risks everything. That quote hits hard, doesn't it? Because at some level, we all know it's true. But when we're standing at the edge of uncertainty, when we're faced with a decision that feels risky, most of us hesitate. Not because we don't want what's on the other side, but because we've been trained to see risk as something to avoid. Maybe you felt this before. You want to take a leap, switch careers, start a business, move to a new city, invest in a relationship. But the thought of what if it doesn't work out stops you cold. The fear isn't just in your mind, you feel it in your body, tightening your chest, knotting your stomach, flooding you with doubt. And here's the trap. We mistake that feeling for a sign that we should stop. We convince ourselves that if something feels uncertain, it must be unsafe. But what if that's not true? What if your reaction to risk isn't a reflection of reality, but just a reflection of how you've been conditioned to handle uncertainty? In this video, you'll learn why risk tolerance isn't something you're born with, it's something you train. How your relationship with risk affects every major area of your life, from career to relationships to personal growth. And a powerful shift in perspective that allows you to move forward with clarity instead of being controlled by fear. Most people think their risk tolerance is just the way they are, that some people are naturally bold and fearless, while others are wired to play it safe. But that's not true. Risk tolerance isn't a personality trait, it's a trained response. Think about it. Two people can face the same exact opportunity. One jumps in head first, excited by the challenge. The other hesitates, consumed by what ifs and worst case scenarios. It's not intelligence, lack, or luck that separates them. It's how their nervous system has learned to process risk. If you grew up in an environment where mistakes were met with criticism, or where uncertainty was labeled as reckless, then of course your system learned to fear risk. Your mind equates the unknown with danger. But here's the key, that conditioning is not permanent. Just like any training, it can be rewired. Most people assume that avoiding risk keeps them safe. But in reality, playing it safe is the biggest risk of all. Because every time you avoid taking a risk, you're training your mind to fear it even more. Every time you hesitate instead of taking action, you reinforce the belief that uncertainty is something to be avoided rather than navigated. And over time, that leads to a life that feels smaller, more constrained, like you're watching opportunities pass you by, but never actually stepping into them. I had a client who spent years waiting for the right time to start his business. He told himself he needed more experience, more savings, more certainty. But really, what he was waiting for was to not feel afraid. Here's the truth. That moment never comes. You don't wait for the fear to go away before you take the risk. You take the risk, and through that, you train your system to handle fear differently. And once he saw that, he stopped waiting for permission from his emotions. He didn't magically eliminate fear, but he learned to move with it instead of being controlled by it. Every major breakthrough in your life, whether in relationships, career, or personal growth, will require stepping into the unknown. But here's what most people don't realize. You can train yourself to be comfortable with risk. Not by forcing yourself to take reckless chances, but by systematically increasing your capacity for uncertainty. By noticing your emotional response to risk without letting it dictate your choices. By understanding that fear is just a sensation, not a stop sign. And the more you practice this, the more risk tolerance you develop. The things that once felt impossible start to feel doable. The discomfort that used to paralyze you becomes manageable. And suddenly you find yourself moving forward, not because the fear is gone, but because you've built the internal strength to handle it. So here's something to consider. What's one risk you know would move your life forward, but you've been hesitating on? And if fear wasn't part of the equation, what choice would you make? I'd love to hear your thoughts. What's something you've wanted to do but held back on because of uncertainty? Drop a comment below and let's talk about it. If this resonated with you, there's a process I've created that helps train the mind to navigate uncertainty without getting stuck in fear. It's designed to develop the emotional and mental capacity to take action with clarity, no matter what life throws at you. If you're interested in going deeper, you'll find more details linked below. And if you want more insights like this, check out my free resources. You can find me on Instagram at Mike Wang Coaching. I also send out a weekly newsletter packed with perspectives like these. Feel free to subscribe if that sounds helpful to you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.